What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about our Washington Commanders. It is now draft month, ladies and gentlemen. We are in April. We are 24 days away from the start of the 2024 NFL draft. And per usual, news coming out of Ashburn. Don't get out of your seats. Don't get too excited. It's more like nothing to see here, but we must talk about it. News concerning our Washington Commanders. We made two signings today. We signed another quarterback. I know, shocker, quarterback Jeff Driskel, and we signed a running back, Jeremy McNichols. Two camp body candidates, two journeymen, and two guys just under 30 years old that have been added to the roster. We've reached the point of the offseason where at this point, Washington not only needs to fill out a roster as far as 53 people, Washington needs to add hella bodies to the room, because we need to get up to about 90, 99 bodies for the offseason period, for OTAs, for camp, mini camp, and training camp. You need a lot of bodies here. And considering we let so many out the door and there weren't as many players on the roster that you need, you got to fill out your roster somehow. What this does tell me is that it might be curtains for Jake Fromm. If there's one thing I've seen since Adam Peters took over this franchise, it's that guys that were a part of Ron's plan, that were a part of the former regime's plan, they're not promised a spot on this team anymore. Why do we need Jake Fromm as a quarterback 3 when we can bring in somebody else? Clearly, Cliff Kingsbury likes Jeff Driskel. Just to let you know, Jeff Driskel offers no quarterback competition cachet. He offers no competition to Marcus Mariota for the backup job. He is 1,000% going to be your quarterback 3 practice squad emergency camp guy. You know how they have the rule now where you can have a third quarterback on the roster on game days that does not count against your 53? Bingo. This is your guy. He started 12 career games with a touchdown to interception ratio of 16-10, and he's almost played for more teams than he started in the league. He was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers back in the day, and he's played for the Niners, the Bengals, the Lions, the Broncos, the Texans, and the Browns since being drafted back in 2017. And there's not too much more to the story, to be perfectly honest. This is not a guy who's going to compete for the first or second quarterback job here. Adam Peters told us in press conferences throughout the offseason that he would like 4 quarterbacks in here. He would like 4 quarterbacks in here throughout the offseason, for the camp process. And we're drafting one at 2. We signed Marcus Mariota to a healthy backup contract. Jake Fromm was already on the roster, but I think nothing of Jake from State Farm. And now Jeff Driskel is added to the mix. This article says backup competition. There's not a backup competition. There's going to be a mid-off for the 3rd string job here in DC. And honestly, it's going to be Jeff Driskel. It's going to be Jeff Driskel. I know he's only started 12 games in the league. That's 12 more games than Jake Fromm. That's 11 more games than Jake Fromm's ever going to start in this league. So I think that spells the final days in Washington for Jake Fromm. We also signed a running back today. We signed journeyman running back Jeremy McNichols. I remember the guy. He used to play for Boise State back in the day. He was drafted back in 2017. He's played for the Niners, the Colts, the Broncos, the Titans, the Bears, the Jaguars, the Falcons, and the Steelers. That is a handful. Like, this dude has played for, well, he was on the roster for half of the goddamn league. Once again, that was Tampa, San Francisco, Indianapolis, Denver, Tennessee, Chicago, Jacksonville, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and now Washington after the 49ers. This isn't a guy with too much career production. He has 360 total yards and 1 touchdown in his career, 40 catches, 300 yards. Camp body, potential practice squad stash running back type guy. He probably has some sort of experience in an offense similar to what we run here. I think both of these signings are nothing to see here, but I especially think the running back is nothing to see here, because Driskel will probably be kept on to be quarterback 3 here. I don't expect Jeremy McNichols to be kept a part of this thing here. Ran a 4.49 back in the day, back in his heyday, coming into the league. 5th round pick. Nothing to see here, guys. We added another running back to the room of Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, and Chris Rodriguez Jr. I imagine we're going to add some type of speed utility scat back in the draft. Who knows? But I imagine we do that as well. And now Jeremy McNichols. Signings are still happening because they kind of have to. You know, we're not even one of the top 3 spending teams in this league, despite the fact that we've signed like 30 people. We made all these acquisitions this year, and we're not even one of the top 3 spending teams in this league. So give Adam Peters and company a pat on the back for how they've handled this offseason. Most importantly, we are now 24 days. That's 3 weeks and 3 days away from the start of the 2024 NFL draft, where Washington is on the clock at number 2. Most people speculate the draft starts at 2 because we have a good idea of what's happening at number 1. The question if it's who it's going to be. Is it going to be May? Is it going to be Daniels? Are they going to pull a shocker and either trade back or take McCarthy at 2? Who knows at this point, but I think I would take the numbers on Daniels and May. One of those 2 being the pick rather than the other ones. Draft content to come. I got a lot more content to drop in the coming weeks. It is now draft month. I'm excited. We're 3 weeks away from the draft. It's my favorite time of year. Be very cautious with what you read on the internet today, because today is April Fool's Day, and I've already seen some Ron Rivera and some other type of April Fool's. I seen someone prank that we traded for Justin Herbert. Be very careful what accounts you follow on social media and what you hear on the internet today, because these April Fool's Day jokes are flying like war fire right now. Be careful. Washington signed a quarterback, and Washington signed a running back. It is what it is. Nothing to see here. We move forward as we push closer to the 2024 NFL draft. Maybe if there's something you want to see discussed on the channel, drop it in the comments below. Make sure y'all sub up, like, comment, and subscribe to the boys' channel. We're trying to get to 12,000 subscribers now. Appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy. Welcome to Washington, Jeff Driskel, Jeremy McNichols, and I missed it the other day, but welcome to Washington, Olamide Zaccheaus. I mentioned it in passing, but yes, he's a part of the new acquisitions as well. Zaccheaus, McNichols, and Driskel looking to be camp bodies competing for a roster spot here in DC when the offseason gets kicked off. Tomorrow starts the first day of workouts for the team, offseason workouts, OTA workout assignments for the team. They can finally start handing guys playbooks. They can start communicating with the players more. It's exciting. It's the ramp up period, and we're a couple weeks away from knowing who our franchise quarterback of the future is going to be. So I'm hella excited, but that's all I got for right now. I ain't going to go for too long. There's not too much to talk about on these current topics. New video coming soon. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Rio, out.